Okay, my name is Jeanette Lowry, and I'm going to be showing you how to do problem 2.2b. That's this one right here. So what I did first is I created the truth tables for P, Q, and R. And essentially they have 8 options each, and half true, half false. So I created these yellow columns, and then the next chunk that I dealt with is shown here in green, which is Q and R. And to get these truth values, what I did is I consulted the truth table that I already made of P and Q, or I'm sorry, Q and R, and because it's and, both values have to be true. So what I'm going to do is essentially look at my Q column and my R column to figure out my Q and R column values. So when Q and R are both true, it'll be true. If only one of them is true, then it's false. And you can see kind of how I got those values here by consulting the Q and R columns. So then I filled that out, and the next part that I moved on to is the P or Q and R. So that's the left half, and I've represented it here in this orange column. And to get these truth values, what I did is I consulted the P column and the Q and R column that we made. And because this is OR, only one of them needs to be true for this value to be true. So what I did is I consulted P and then the Q and R column, and as you can see here, these are both true, and so we get true. And in the case that it's true and false, we still get true because only one of them needs to be true because it is OR. So I filled out the rest of those values by consulting my P and Q and R columns for the truth values. And then after that, the next column that I created is actually from the other half of this. So it's P or Q. So P or Q. What I did to create that is I consulted my P and my Q columns here. So P or Q, only one of them has to be true for it to be true. So I filled that in. And then the next chunk that I took on is P or R. So again, I'm just going to consult my my columns that I created here. So P or R. And because it's OR, only one of them has to be true for it to be true. So that's how I created these, is just consulting the P and R columns. So I filled out those truth values, and then now we can move on to the full right half of this, which is represented here in blue. And to create that, I'm going to consult my P or Q column right here and my P or R column right here. And then this is and, so basically both of them have to be true for this value to be true. So consulted this column and this column, and these are the truth values that I got from that. And now that we have made columns for both halves of the of this, we can look at my orange column, which represents the left half, and we can look at my blue column, which represents the right half, and we can see that these have the same truth values. So 5 true, 3 false, 5 true, 3 false, and because the truth values are exactly the same for each half, we know that they are equivalent. So the orange half is equivalent to the blue half. And that is how I did that.